Hey, Flosstube Sean here. It's before the end of the year and I'm back. Just a quick note, I may have to get up and down a little bit to let the cat in and out of the room. We used to have a cat door in the door to this bedroom where I'm filming it, which is actually my office. But when we got the dog, we moved the door with the cat door in it to the bedroom so that we could keep the dog in at night, but the cat could still come and go from the bedroom as she pleased. So this door no longer has a cat door in it, and if I'm in a room with the door shut, the cat doesn't like that. And most of you who have cats know this. Even though my wife is out in the living room doing yoga right now, there is a door shut, so that is where the cat wants to be. So I may just have to get up and down a little bit, or you may hear some scratchings off to this side. Right now, she's just taking a bath. Anyway, I meant to be back actually last week, but extenuating circumstances prevented that. My mom went in the hospital Sunday. She had somehow dislocated her shoulder overnight, but she woke up and she couldn't move her left arm, couldn't lift it, couldn't do nothing with it. My dad initially thought she might have had a stroke. Got her into the emergency room, and turned out she had dislocated her shoulder, and they tried to put it back in the socket, but it wasn't holding, so they had to do surgery to get her shoulder to hold in socket. So that was the beginning of my week. Last week, or really this past week. So it's the trials and tribulations of having aging parents, and both of mine have terminal illnesses too. My mom has Alzheimer's and my dad has cancer. So things like that are going to come up. Anyway, happier things. Let's get into some stitching. I am going to try to do this weekly as much as I can. Because I really want to get back involved in the community of cross stitch, and you also might see the cat randomly jump up on me too. It looks like she wants to right now. Ginger. Okay, and all this will be left in because, as you know, I don't cut this stuff out. So let's start with temperature stitching. I got, over the past now 2 weeks since I last filmed, I did, looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of temperature stitching. Hang on one second. You want out? She's going to want back in probably less than 30 seconds. So I did look 5 days of temperature stitching over the last 2 weeks. Some days I'm just not. I don't know why I didn't do a lot of temperature stitching the prior week. I think I was just really into my non-full coverage pieces and didn't feel like working on my full coverage pieces, and that's what mostly is in my temperature stitching. When I get further into my temperature stitching, I'll talk about something I thought of. Here she is. Okay, you can stay there. Okay, that's gonna get annoying. Anyway, so to start off with, Monday the 28th of July, the high was 90, so my temperature project was Muses, which is Heaven and Earth Designs. That is what it looks like. And I was working up in this top corner of Sky, and I put 132 stitches in. I started going down this top diagonal here. That's what I started doing, because if you look at the project, I'm just going to kind of flip it. I've got this diagonal of 10 going, and I haven't completed it down to the corner yet. This is a perfect, this piece is a square, so this will go down to the bottom corner. And then I decided that I wanted to get the other 10 diagonal in, so it's a 20 diagonal, because you see a bit more progress in a diagonal of 20. So I wanted to get that going, so that's what I've got right there. Just one second. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, that's what I want to do. That's where I'm gonna be working on muses. I'm gonna be working on this 10 diagonal. Like I said, I got 132 stitches into that. And then I didn't do any temperature stitching until the following Monday, this past Monday. I had taken a sick day from work, partially because of the situation with my mom, but also because I woke up with a horrible headache that day. And I usually do when it's the day after a hospital thing like that. My mom was still in the hospital. My mom was in the hospital till Wednesday, but I was kind of waiting around for word from my dad on what was going on, if the surgery was happening that day or not. So I had taken a sick day, and once my head was better, I went ahead and started stitching. And that day was rainy Waterloo Place. The projected high was 81. The actual highs are different. Like today's projected high was 84, and it looks like the actual high is going to be 90. Yeah, but one second. Okay, I think my wife's going to try to keep the cat occupied for a little bit. So that ended up rainy Waterloo Place. And the day before, I was saying, today the high is 84, but the projected high was 84, but the actual high is 90, because I was just in the weather app today. But I don't know if I'm going to continue to just fill out the week of projected highs, or if, because I don't do the temperature stitching every day, if I feel like doing temperature stitching that day, if I'll just look up the high and see what it is. That might be what I do. We'll see. But I went with the projected highs for the first part of last week, and I did good through the first part of the week. Monday, Tuesday, through Thursday, I did temperature stitching. Friday, I didn't. And then yesterday I had another Saturday migraine. And it's been like 5 Saturdays in a row now. And my wife and I are trying to figure out what is different about Saturday versus the rest of the week, why I'm suddenly getting migraines on Saturdays. So that's what we're working on. So I didn't get any stitching done yesterday. So Monday, the projected high was 81, and 1 is rainy Waterloo Place. So it's weird. I didn't film for 7 months. On my last video, it had been 7 months since I filmed, and I felt more capable of filming. I felt like I was doing a better job after 7 months than I am now, than I feel like I'm doing now after 2 weeks. It's weird. Anyway, this is what Rainy Waterloo Place will look like. This is from Cross Stitch Collectibles. And I finished the page I had been working on. I put 350 stitches in, because the prior day, the Sunday where I didn't get any stitching done, that day's was Rainy Waterloo Place as well. So I just kind of did 2 days worth of stitching, since I really wanted to finish that page. So I just made that the goal for that day, was to finish this page right here, where the umbrella and the start of one of the cars right here. So I'm not sure where I'm going to start on this next. This was already done when I thought I was going to switch the whole thing to a diagonal, and then I thought I might go across the top a little bit, so that's why that little bit is done. So I'm not sure if I'm going to go up to this page, or if I'm going to continue and just finish off this is 2 pages across, but they only got one more page down, so I might just find the bottom and finish these 2 pages. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'll decide when it comes up again. And then Tuesday was projected high of 84. So that was Outer Frontier from Heaven and Earth Designs, Chris Ortega artwork. This is currently my oldest full coverage piece since I finished Audrey last year. So I just worked in this diagonal. I did 108 stitches, and I was gonna finish that diagonal and then either, because I stitch while I'm working when downtime's at work, and either something came up that I had to deal with at work, or I stopped for lunch, and whenever I came back to it, I no longer felt like working on this piece. I wanted to switch. I wanted to get to something else. So that's why I didn't end up finishing that diagonal. Yeah. So that's Outer Frontier. The next 2 days were projected high of 85, so that ended up being Simply Meant to Be, which is a Nightmare Before Christmas piece, Heaven and Earth Designs. And I was just working along the top. So I was working in here, so I filled in a little bit here and then extended here. I'm either going to continue on with that row of 10 to get to here. I'm pretty confident that when I did this little bit to find the other side, and started stitching this way over here, I'm pretty confident that that is right. But my idea was to fill in this row of 10 just to make sure that everything was good over here. What I might want to do now, though, is that I think 415 was the color I was working with here. I can take that out and I'll kind of go around, and I'll be really close to Jack's skull at that point, and then I can start putting some work into his skull. Just one second. Oh, she's getting annoying right now. I haven't filmed in here since before we switched those doors. So this is the first time the door's ever been shut, and she hasn't been able to just jump through a cat door. Because when I'm working during the day, the door's open. And I just have the door shut right now because my wife's out in the living room doing yoga. She doesn't need my voice bleeding out openly through the door while she's trying to do whatever she does. But that's might be my plan with this next, is to do something to go where I can go over and start working on Jack's skull, so I can start working on something concrete and start seeing something in this rather than just all this sky and clouds and stuff. I think that'll make me much more excited about the piece. And then, so that was Wednesday and Thursday. Thursday, I had the idea of, why don't I try and get some of my non-full coverage projects in? So what I did is I made a list for my non-full coverage and thought I could do the low for non-full coverage, the high for full coverage, and the low for non-full coverage. And then each day, if I do any temporary stitching that day, I can either do both, or I can decide which one I'd rather do. So I filled in for Thursday through Sunday the temperature stitching for the lows, and I did Thursday and Friday for the low, I didn't do Friday for the high. I did, but I only put like 30 stitches in. It's not even worth showing. You can't. It's in such a confetti area. It's not even worth showing right now. But 1 second. Oh, yeah. Cats. So anyway, I filled in Thursday through Sunday for the low, and the low on Thursday was 67, so that ended up being Halloween Quaker. So I was excited to put a little bit more work into this, since if you saw my last video, you saw that I discovered that I had actually restarted this with this little thing right here. So I put in some stitching right here on this big motif right here. So that is what I did. I put two strands in on that one, and I really enjoyed putting those couple strands in and getting back to this. I'm excited to be back to Halloween Quaker. And then Friday, the low was 69, and that got me back to my Mirabilia, which I was excited to get back to because I had a lovely comment from a viewer. Let me see if I can figure out comments. A viewer named Connie, and she just gave me a really great pep talk about Mirabilia, and got me yeah, she doesn't have a channel. Okay. And got me kind of excited to work on this again. And so thank you for that, Connie, if you see this. I already I thanked you in the reply to your comment, but publicly, thank you for the pep talk. So I got back to this, and all these light colored stitches here. That's what I did. So right here and all of this here is what I got done on the Mirabilia, and I'm actually going to probably work on it some today too, because I was really enjoying being back to that. I kind of really want to get some progress into this, because I don't want it to be 2 years before I get to the point of beading. I want to get. I doubt this will happen. I'd love to get the stitching done this year, so I can try the beading this year. I don't think that's going to happen, but at least the first part of next year, I think I would like to try and be able to start trying the beading. Somebody did mention I should get a Mill Hill kit and start trying beading that way. And actually, I do have a Mill Hill kit. I don't know. Yeah. I do have a Mill Hill kit. The Buttons and Beads Christmas Village. I bought this around Christmas time. I don't think it was last year. I think it might have been the year before. I'm not sure. But my problem with it is, oh yeah, I didn't even open it. If you look, oh no, I did. Okay, there's maybe I didn't. Okay, I'm just gonna leave it. I'm just gonna leave it, because if I ever give it to somebody, I don't want everything spilling out. All the flosses are bunched together, no separation, and all the beads are put together, no separation. And I don't know how to separate them. I have color problems. I'm not going to be able to separate this stuff. Some shades are going to look exactly the same to me. So it's just something I can't do. So I did have that exact thought of buying a Mill Hill kit to get used to beading. But if that's how they come, all put together like that, no separation of anything, I can't do them. Because I can't separate the colors. Okay, so that's temperature stitching. Where I am at with everything, all 10 of my projects in their quest to 2,000 stitches before they get replaced, is I'm at 132 stitches with the Muses, 489 with a Rainy Water New Place. That's the one that's the greatest along. Big Cats is at 95. Scotty Goddess of the North is at 135. Outer Frontier is at 108. Simply Meant to Be is at 203. That's how many stitches I put in on that this week. Baldu Mask is at 30. Like I forgot to even take the number off of Pioneer Keeper, so that's at like 30, 37. Stolen Harvest is at 153. Blackberry Dragon is at 156, and Winter City is at nothing, because every time that comes up, and temperature stitching is a day I don't feel like doing temperature stitching. That I don't feel like working on full coverage for some reason. It's not that I don't like working on that piece. I do. I just, when on the days that comes up, it's not my focus. And that might be all I need. No, it's not all I need my tablet for. Okay, so next is just stitching I felt like doing. I did do a little bit of wheel spinning. I got reminded by somebody, I forget who, that it is Arbitrary August. So I did a little bit of wheel spinning just to throw some randomness into things, which everything's random with me anyway. But so the first, not the first, but the first one I come to here. So one of the spins was the Barn Owl, which I hadn't started yet, but I had the fabric for it, so I had it on my wheel. I had everything to start it, so I have a few projects on my spinny wheel that I have everything for. I just haven't started them, and this is one of them. So I got a small little start on the Barn Owl. So just threw a couple of strands in that day of one color. So that's my small little start on the Barn Owl. I really love working on these Cottage Garden samplings pieces. Next up is, I just have a stack over here, and I'm going in order of the stack. The Bear. I was actually hoping to have this finished by the next time I filmed, or close to finished by the next time I filmed, because I was really enjoying working on it, and then I just went off in left field and just started working on a bunch of other stuff and didn't get back to this. But since you last saw it, I got this last frond put in, everything extended down here, and I got his neck done and some extension down into here. I got, that was already filled in. And I took some out this way, so I've got this outlined a bit more, so I can just fill that. I don't even need the pattern. I can just fill that in because this is extended where it needs to be. And so I did a little bit of outlining of section. I was making good progress, and I thought at least by the end of last week, I could be done with everything I could do without moving the Q-snap. But like I said, my focus just changed. I wanted to start working on other things. Next up is, turn that off for now. Save battery because it's a pain in the ass to charge. Witchy Stitcher's Cryptid Stitch Along. I finished the Enfield Horror. and I started the frame of the Jersey Devil. I had the thought that I might try to get one of the cryptids done a week, and Enfield Horror is the one I got done last week, and then I started the Jersey Devil, and haven't been back to it to finish the Jersey Devil this week. So maybe I'll finish the Jersey Devil next week. Maybe I'll finish one every 2 weeks or something. I would like to get this done this year, though. Because it could easily be done this year, and I would like I said in my last video, I'd like to have a few more non-full coverage finishes this year. Next is another new start. I mentioned in the last video that I had this piece of fabric that I was going to start Modern Folk Embroideries Here Be Dragons on with floss. Bright Leaf from Weeks Dye Works. And I don't remember what the colorway is on that. I don't remember what the colorway is on this. The colorway on the Barn Owl and the Bear is 40 count Valor Newcastle linen from Pictureless Plus. So I don't remember what that's on. And I don't remember. I think it's called Murky, but I don't remember what it is. So this is my start. This is what Here Be Dragons will look like. Getting a lot of glare on this one because it's very light colored. And I just started up in the corner. And that is my start on it. I was doing up through Thursday, I was doing one strand a day. I decided I was going to make this a one strand a day project. I didn't do it Friday or Saturday. So I don't think I'm going to make up those stitches. But I think I do want to start getting back to one strand a day on that. I think that's the last thing I need my tablet for. Next is another new start. It is the Pirates from Cottage Garden Samplings. And this will be on a 40 count New Country Mocha from, does it say? And I think that's the right way. This is my start on this. I did Center Star and I did his stick arm there that's going to be holding the telescope and a little bit of the sail of the big ship. Just as a quick start. This was another wheel spin. And I just love working on these Cottage Garden Samplings pieces. And next is Santa's House. I got kind of inspired to work on this by Andrew the Runner Stitcher's finish and Stuart and Stitches showing it as his temperature stitching. It inspired me to work on it. So I got a little bit of that part of the house done. It's hard to see because my light's washing it out, but there's I got a little bit of snowflake done in there too. Oh no, I do need this again. Next up is the Extraordinary Bird Cell. This mock-up is through number 10. I haven't put the 11th installment that came out Friday on my tablet yet. I'm not even sure if I've downloaded it onto my email yet. But that's where it goes through week 10 minus backstitching, because this is a pattern keeper mock-up. And I just put a little bit of work. I finished the owl's face. He had hollow eyes the last time you saw it, so his eyes weren't filled in. I still need to do the back stitching on his face. And then I just finished out that 310 and extended it this way. That's really all I did on that, but I felt like I wanted to get back to it a little bit. And next is, I don't remember why. I think this was a wheel spin. I did a full coverage wheel spin, and it landed on Gothic Princess and Moonlit Palace from Stitches So Beautiful. So that is the mock-up of that. That is artwork by... I should have mentioned Extraordinary Bird Cell is Lola Crow. Cross Stitch's current Stitch Along. That was Carriage Guard samplings. Yeah, I think I mentioned designers on all the rest of it. But I was just working in this 20 diagonal here, starting from, top what I hadn't stitched and stitching on through. I don't even remember how many stitches I put into it. I think a couple hundred. But that is where I'm at with that. I'm trying to get this back on it because, again, this one is a square. So I think I want to just go full diagonal stitching on this. And the last piece is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I've been working on this square here. I want to try and get this finished this month. So that's been my main focus. The last time you saw this, I think I just had these two birds and the tree done. I might have had this route finished. I don't remember. But I finished off those roots. I filled this in. I filled the grass and snake in here. And then I started on the other half of this tree. So I've gotten all this light color here, the black mouth, this eye. All of that's been done since you last saw this. So that's the block I want to finish on Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow this month. And then September will be the Headless Horseman's block. And that is my stitching for the last couple of weeks. I start doing this. This is 33 minutes. I start doing this every week. I can get these videos down 15, 20 minute quick hits. And hopefully start getting back more involved in the community. I did purchase a ticket to Harvest Moon. Is it Harvest Moon? The Lindy Stitch's next next virtual in September. I think it's Harvest. I think it's Harvest Moon Hangout. So I will be attending that off and on the weekend of September 19th through the 21st. So if you're going to be there, let me know. If you'd like to meet up at a stitching table or something, let me know. I'd be open to that because last time I didn't do any of that. And I think partially because I hadn't made a video since December, and I don't really talk. So I didn't really, even though I've been doing Flosstube off and on since, I don't know, let's see, when was my first Flosstube video? I had a few people I talked to early on, but some of them don't make content anymore, and we've just lost touch. Used to talk a little bit with Jemima the Rocking Stitcher. She doesn't make videos anymore. I actually started Simply Meant to Be has a stitch along with somebody who hasn't made videos in years. So my first Flosstube video was, because if you're new to my channel, I was a booktube channel before I was a Flosstube channel. My first Flosstube video was on January 30th, 2019. And this video, that was Flosstube number 1. This will be Flosstube number 29. So in 6 years, this is the 29th video I've made. So I haven't even been in the community consistently enough to really get to know anybody and really make any friends in the community. So I was a little intimidated. I think I was a little intimidated by that too. The last hangout is, I just didn't know anybody. Like, even though I've been in Flosstube for 6 years, I didn't know anybody. As always, like from my last video on out, my email will be in the description. It is booksfilmfloss@gmail.com. My Instagram is Sean P. Stitches. I don't post a lot on there, but you can still DM me there. So if you want to reach out to me, you can either comment on here and I will reply. We can have a conversation here, or email or Instagram DM. Both work fine. The Books Film Floss email is my email for my channel. It is not. It's separate from my personal email, so your email wouldn't get lost in there. So yeah, I'm at 1,891 subscribers right now. I would love to make a goal for the end of the year to be up to 2,000 subscribers. I know it's not something we talk a lot about on Flosstube, is subscriber count and stuff, but we all have our little goals, So I think it'd be cool to be up to 2,000 subscribers by the end of the year. This end of this video is getting awkward. I apologize for that. I was gonna shout out some Flosstubers that I was watching this week, and I didn't mark them down, so now I can't remember. I watched a lot of Flosstube, and I can't remember the newer ones I watched. I apologize. I will try to do better at that. I would like to start shouting out some newer Flosstubers in my videos and get them some subscribers. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to end this video and end my uncomfortable rambling. You've all probably clicked off by now anyway. Like the video, subscribe if you're new here and want to keep up with my stitching. I'd appreciate that. That does help get the YouTube algorithm getting my videos out there, especially now that I'm starting to get to record a little bit more. And happy stitching, and I will see you hopefully next week.